it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I have a new release from Knees Lacquer. This collection is called For No Mortal Creature, and it's inspired by the book by the same name. The For No Mortal Creature collection is in collaboration with the author Kesh Chow. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'll put some of the information for the book right here in case anyone's curious, and also have a link for it in the description box if you want to pick it up. Based on past collections that Knees Lacquer has done that has been inspired by books, I have to say Sarah has pretty good reading taste, so I would expect that this book is also really good for my fellow readers. The For No Mortal Creature collection will be available starting this Friday, we're in October 17th on the Knees Lacquer website. Knees Lacquer does offer international shipping, however they do also have a whole variety of international stockist pages. I will link all the ones that I am aware of down in the description box. Alongside this release, there also will be some overpours, which I'll get into all the sale information, overpours, caps, all that stuff towards the end of the video. All of the polishes featured in today's video were sent to me by Knees Lacquer. I do some commission work for Knees Lacquer, but they did not pay me to make this video. I just wanted to do it. So today's video is not going to be sponsored, but I do have a business relationship with the brand. Hopefully this made sense. So as always, in the description box, links to where you can pick these polishes up, links to the brand's website, social media pages, my social media pages. Most importantly, timestamps are in the description box, and I'll save again all my final thoughts, sale info, all that good stuff towards the end of the video. Let's get into this one. The first polish up, we have Always, Now, and Forever. The brand describes this one as a deep burgundy with a glowy golden shimmer. Always, Now, and Forever had a fantastic formula. On that first coat, it is a little bit on the more sheer side, but overall applied pretty evenly. I do think this one's going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on your own personal preference. For both the live swatch as well as for my full hand swatches, I did swatch this one in 3 coats. I found in 3 coats I was able to reach full opacity, and in 2 coats I had just like a little bit of visible nail line. The shimmer in here is absolutely beautiful. While the brand does describe it as a glowy gold shimmer, I was seeing both green and blue coming in at more extreme angles. While on the first coat, I would definitely say this looks like a burgundy base. I feel that once you start building this one up, in combination with the shimmer, the base looks almost kind of brown leaning, like a reddish brown lean. While I did not personally experience any staining while wearing this polish, this one does feel fairly pigmented, so I will caution against staining. And of course, removal is going to be pretty dang easy because this is just a shimmer nail polish, but it's going to be fairly messy due to those shimmer particles. And now we have Death Clings to You Like a Mantle, which the brand describes as a grungy gold with a blue to red flake as well as a scattering of holographic. Death Clings to You Like a Mantle had a fantastic formula. I absolutely love the name of this polish. I have not yet read the book that this collection is inspired by, but I feel like just this polish alone makes me want to go read the book. As you saw on that first coat, as well as what you're seeing right now, this one is a fairly sheer polish. I opted to build this one up in 3 coats. I did still have very obvious visible nail line with this one, so I do think you could wear this one both as a topper or layered with like a visible nail line blurring base if you don't like visible nail line. I feel like this is a slightly prugly leaning gold. Like, it doesn't feel like the regal gold that you usually think of as like a gold flaky polish. That kind of grunginess the brand described does make this one lean like a little bit in the prugly family. For the blue to red flakies for this polish, I was not really seeing a ton of red. I found on the nail I was largely seeing blue and kind of like a purpley color. As I moved my hand around, I was seeing like a hint of red, but I would say the predominant color that you're going to see for those flakies on your nails are going to be blue and purple. Neither of the flakies in this polish are going to dry down overly textured. I found one layer of top coat smoothed everything out really nicely for me. Removal is not going to be overly difficult with this polish, but it is going to be fairly messy if you choose to scrub this one off. I would use the soak off method or peel off base coat personally. And now we have Little Demon, which the brand describes as a raspberry polish with a red to green shifting shimmer and a subtle holographic. Little Demon also had a fantastic formula, and this one is a pink. Not neon pink, but a very saturated, juicy kind of pink. Little Demon is also going to be another 2 to 3 coater. For my full hand swatches, I did 3 coats. For the live swatch here, I'll be swatching this one in 2. I found that the level of visible nail line in 2 coats was fairly slight. I only really added the 3rd coat to see if that would, change things, and it did, slightly. Knees was not joking around when they said the holographic in here is fairly subtle. While I could see that it was there on the nail, I found that largely you were getting kind of an interesting visual texture from the holographic as opposed to being like blinded by the rainbows. As far as the shimmer goes, I found it gave the polish a very kind of pinky red kind of vibe to it. I was able to see a gold color shift in the shimmer, but I was not able to see green on the nail. and I found that for like the red color shift, it made the polish itself look very pinky red, but not necessarily like, oh wow, that's definitely red that I am seeing. It looks more like you're seeing like pinky red on the nail to gold on the nail. This is another fairly pigmented and saturated nail polish, so once again, I did not personally experience staining, but I will caution, if you were concerned about staining, make sure to double up on your base coat. Removal for Little Demon is going to be fairly easy, but because this one is so saturated, I would recommend soaking this one off and not scrubbing the pigments into your nails. And now we have Resurrection, which Bee's Knees describes as a steely blue polish in their Mosaic Magnetic formula. When magnetized, you will see both a rich purple and a deep blue magnetic pigment. If you are new to the brand's Mosaic Magnetics, by the way, these polishes basically have two multi-grow magnetic pigments in them, so each time you magnetize it, it's going to look slightly different. Resurrection had a pretty great formula. It is a bit sheer as well as being a little bit uneven on that first coat. I would recommend building this one up in 3 coats, both to wear on its own as well as to wear when you magnetize it. This is going to be one of those magnetic polishes that shear out quite a bit once you magnetize them. The amount of shearing out is not as noticeable with the velvet effect, but with the cat eye effect, like you go from having like barely any visible nail line to very obvious visible nail line. Between the two magnetic pigments on your nail, you're going to see a blue, purple, pink, and gold color shifts on the nail. For my full hand swatches for all the magnetics in this release is going to show the polishes unmagnetized on my pointer finger and pinky. My middle nail is going to be in the velvet effect, and my ring finger is with the cat eye effect. The magnetic pigments in here aren't going to make removal overly difficult, but it will make removal fairly messy if you choose to scrub this one off. And now we have Sacrifice, which the brand describes as a deep turquoise base in the Mosaic Magnetic formula. When magnetized, you see a bright green as well as a powder blue magnetic pigment. Sacrifice was quite a bit more opaque than the previous shade. For both the live swatch and my full hand swatches, is going to polish in 2 coats. I did not find that when magnetized that this sheared out so much that I felt like I really needed to do a 3rd coat. For whatever reason, I decided to get extra fancy for the live swatch. I'm showing you the magnetic setup that you're going to be seeing throughout the rest of this video, where I have a bar magnet on top of my horseshoe style magnet, and it makes this cool kind of zigzaggy effect. If you try to recreate this look at home, I just would recommend a lot of caution. Careful, SpongeBob! When putting the bar magnet on top of the horseshoe magnet, as it could cause the bar magnet to shatter. I do have a silicone sleeve over my bar magnet, and I feel like that just adds like a little bit of protection in case my magnets get a little bit too close together too quickly. I found the brand's description of this polish to be fairly accurate. I found that on the nail you're seeing a variety of tones and shades of greens, blue, and teal. As is typical for the Bee's Knees magnetic formula, I did find this to magnetize super duper easily. The polish itself does dry down a little bit dull, so you will definitely want some glossy top coat to bring life back to the polish. Removal is going to be fairly easy and not at all difficult, but it will be messy for removal, if you choose to scrub it off, that is. This next polish is called Shadowside, and Bee's Knees describes it as a black base polish with a glowy purple magnetic shimmer and silver light reflective glitter. I did not initially think this collection was missing anything until I swatched Shadowside. I was like, oh yeah, glitter. The collection is missing glitter. Shadowside had a fantastic formula. It was slightly on the thicker side, but it does have reflective glitter in it, so that was not terribly surprising. Unsurprisingly, Shadowside is going to be a 2 to 3 coater depending on your own personal preference. In 2 coats unmagnetized, I did have a little hint of visible nail line. I found this one does shear out a little bit when you magnetize it, so depending on how you feel about that, you're going to want 2 to 3 coats. For my full hand swatches, I did use 3 coats for the magnetized nails and 2 coats for the unmagnetized nails. While the brand does describe the magnetic pigment in here as being blue toned, I found that on the nail I was seeing both a blue and purple color shift. Because Shadowside does have light reflective glitter in this polish, it is going to dry down very textured, and I would not recommend scrubbing this one off. Definitely use the soak off method, and you're going to want at least 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. And now we have Salvation, which the brand describes as a violet-based mosaic magnetic, which unmagnetized looks like an ordinary pink multichrome, but when you magnetize it, it has a rich gold magnetic pigment as well as a bright pink. Salvation also had a fantastic formula, a little bit sheer on that first coat. It built up really nicely into. I did, however, still have a little bit of visible nailing with it in 2 coats, but I will still call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on your personal preference and potentially your nail length. For my live swatch as well as my full hand swatches, I did swatch this one out in 3 coats. Because I had fairly obvious visible nail line in 2 coats, I did opt to add a 3rd coat for magnetizing it. I did not find that this sheared out significantly when it's magnetized. I was seeing both the pink and gold color shift in the two different magnetic pigments, and I also was seeing a green color shift in there as well. I do think that in low lighting, the purple base when magnetized might look very close to black. And once again, super easy removal, and I did not personally experience any staining. This next polish is called the Abyss, and Bee's Knees describes it as a black base polish with a purple to red shimmer. The Abyss had a really nice formula. This one does start off fairly sheer. However, I will call it a 2 to 3 coater depending on personal preference and likely your nail length. If you are a stickler for VNL and you have longer nails, you're likely going to want to go in for 3 coats. For my full hand swatches, I did opt to swatch this one out in 3 coats. Even though this polish only has a purple to red color shift, I still somehow want to call it a multi-chrome when I guess technically it makes it more duochrome-y than anything, but my brain keeps wanting to call this one a multi-chrome. While applying the Abyss, you do see some brush strokes on the nail, but I found all the brush strokes do disappear as the polish dries down. And as I've been saying this entire release, super duper easy removal for this shade. It will be a little bit messy if you scrub it off though. This next polish is called the Forest of 1,000 Hearts, and the brand describes this one as a deep forest green with a glowy green to blue shimmer. The Forest of 1,000 Hearts also had a really good formula. I was really happy with the level of opacity this shade had. You still have a really strong glowy shimmer, but I found it to be opaque on me in 2 coats. I feel like the amount of opaque shimmers in this release is also really refreshing to see. I feel like there was a little period there for BKL where every single shimmer was so incredibly sheer that they were kind of like topper-ish. That being said, I do think this is one of the polishes in this collection that I feel like is likely going to be fairly similar to a past release, but still pretty all the same. I found this shade to be exactly as the brand describes because it has that green base paired with a green to blue shimmer. On the nail, this kind of looks like it's more of a teal base with a green shimmer. Nothing in here is going to dry down textured. It is in fact a shimmer based polish, so removal is going to be very easy but slightly messy due to the shimmer particles. This next polish is called the Lake of Forgetfulness, and the brand describes it as a cyan to blue lemon cousin with a similar light reflective glitter. The Lake of Forgetfulness had a fantastic formula, similar to the Bee's Knees polish called Lemon that this is a cousin to. This one does not have a tinted base. All of the color that you're getting on your nail is coming strictly from the shimmer. So you can wear this one built up on its own for like a sheer glowy look, or you can wear it as a topper to put over whatever color you want. Similar to Lemon, I did find that when built up in 3 coats, I did have significant visible nail line with the Lake of Forgetfulness. As someone who is a massive fan of Bee's Knees Lemon, I feel like I went into the Lake of Forgetfulness with a little bit too much hype.
Not for me, mate.
Which, to be fair to this particular polish, I myself am not a huge fan of really like icy blues. And this is a very icy, cold looking shade on the nail. So I do acknowledge it was foolish on my part to think I was going to love this just because it was a lemon cousin. Because this nail polish has light reflective glitter in it, it is going to dry down very textured. You're going to want at least 2 layers of top coat to smooth everything out. And for the state of your nails, you will also want to soak this polish off or use a peel off base coat. Do not scrub off reflective glitter. It is not going to be fun times for your nails. This next polish up is called the Ultimate Weapon, and the brand describes it as a dark turquoise base with a glowing blue magnetic shimmer and a blue light reflective glitter. Spoiler alert, this one should have been my top pick, but for some reason I completely forgot about it when I was going over my top picks.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
The Ultimate Weapon had a fantastic formula. I was able to reach full opacity in only 2 coats, so for the live swatch you're going to be seeing it in 2 coats, but for my full hand swatches, the magnetized nails are in 3 coats. Unmagnetized, this polish looks very blue toned. You don't really see that dark turquoisey base until you magnetize this one, and then on the nail you're getting both a blue magnetic stripe as well as like a teal magnetic stripe. While the Ultimate Weapon is not one of the brand's mosaic magnetics, I found when I magnetize it in this kind of zigzag formation, it gives the look of one of the mosaic magnets. Like I feel like I'm seeing 2 different colors in that magnetic stripe. And then I also found when I did my cat eye for the full hand swatch, I also was getting a double line on the nail. Because this polish has light reflective glitter, you're gonna wanna what?
Now listen closely.
Use at least 2 layers of top coat and soak that shit off. Do not scrub off light reflective glitter. You will be in for a bad time. And the final nail polish in this collection is called What Is Dead Can Die Again. The brand describes this one as a black crelly base with a glowy flake that shifts between a black and purple and red. What Is Dead Can Die Again did not have my favorite formula ever. I found this one starts off very, very, very sheer, and I just personally didn't really love how it built up in 3 coats. I found in 2 coats it was still really, really uneven and just very patchy, and then in 3 coats it still looked a little bit uneven. When I was doing my full hand swatches, I was there looking at it and trying to decide if I miscounted how many coats that I did, because I just didn't like how it looked. So I do think to get the best application for this particular shade, you're going to want to go in for like medium to slightly thicker coats. You're not going to want to overwork it, so try to do like the 3-stroke method and that's it. And if you spend any amount of time on this channel or paid attention in this video, you would know that I do not in fact adhere to the 3-stroke method at all. I am a chronic nail polish overworker and damn proud of it.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
The flakies in this polish are fairly small and dry down fairly flat. I feel like they're a bit more subtle on the nail. I was not seeing like a true red to purple color shift. I was more so seeing largely just red and like flashes of purple. So nothing in here is going to dry down overly textured. 1 coat of top coat and you will be good. I don't think this is going to be terribly difficult to remove. I still would recommend the soak off method though. Okie dokie, so final thoughts. Overall, I thought this was a really fun release. The polishes themselves, I feel like was a good mixture of polishes that like I kind of think of as like staples for the brand. If you're new to Knees Lacquer is very strong in like color shifty shimmers that tend to also be like slightly on the more sheer side. I feel like this release had a really good combination of shimmers that I expect from the brand, as well as like some really fun magnetic shades. So I was really happy that as I was going through all of these polishes that I wasn't looking and be like, oh wow, I've seen this from Knees Lacquer like 20 times already. I didn't have that feeling with the majority of this collection, so I was really happy with it overall. I will say though, I do think the magnetics were my particular favorite from this release. Just as far as finishes go, hi Sassy. Are you on my microphone? As far as my own personal top pick from this release, despite me just saying I really like the magnetics, I will say that Death Clings to You Like a Mantle is actually one of my top pick from this release. I mean, other than the fact that it is like kind of like a grungy gold, and I do love me a gold, I do feel like out of this entire release, that one probably is the one that I feel is like least dupeable in the Knees catalog, so that one really caught my eye. I also really like Little Demon because, you know, it's pink. As far as pricing and sale information goes, this collection is going to be launching Friday, October 17th on the Knees Lacquer website. This release is going to be listed as a pre-order, and the pre-order window closes on October 26th. All of the polishes in this release are going to be priced between $13 and $14.50, and Knees Lacquer does have a 15 ml bottle. There will not be any limits on the number of polishes that customers can order for each polish, and each polish is going to be capped at 500 bottles. There also will be overpours available for the All Our Rage collection. If you are new to overpours from these kind of smaller indie brands, the overpours are going to be fairly limited in bottles. They're going to have like much lower caps. And also, if you're newer to indie brands and don't know what I'm talking about for the caps are basically the amount of polishes that will be available per bottle. So for the main collection, there's 500 available per bottle. For the overpours are usually anywhere from like less than 10 to more than 10. It really just kind of bounces all over the place depending on the polish. So if any of the All Our Rage polishes are of interest to you, I would highly recommend getting on the Knees Lacquer website at 7 p.m. on launch day. I would love to know what everyone else thought of this release. Are you planning on picking it up? Do you like Knees Lacquer? Y'all know the drill. Let me know all your thoughts and feelings down below. Also, because this is a Knees Lacquer post, I do also want to mention Knees Lacquer takes part in a collaboration called Fandom Flakies. Fandom Flakies is an indie collaboration between Knees Lacquer, Night Owl Lacquer, and Ribbit Stickets. Every single month for Fandom Flakies, Knees Lacquer, Night Owl Lacquer, and Ribbit Stickets all get together to do a release that's a limited edition and inspired by, you know, something fandom related. For the month of October, that theme is going to be the movie Zootopia. The Fandom Flakies box is actually available right now on the time of posting. The Fandom Flakies box is going to close at this Friday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So I just wanted to throw that into this video just in case you were unaware of Fandom Flakies. Before we end today's video, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Shenanigans, Story fans, your names, of course, all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there's a link for that in the description box. You can click join and subscribe button. But as always, that is optional. Just like this video, comment, share, subscribe. Also, YouTube has a hype thing now. I don't have access to it. I don't know how to get access to it, but you can hype the video up too. I can't see it, but I appreciate you doing it, which is really weird, by the way. I can't see hype on any of my like devices. Like, I don't know if it's because I have like Apple stuff or what, but I can't see hyping at all. But every so often on other people's videos, I'll see that there's like hype numbers. Does anyone know what's going on with that? So just thank you all for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely week, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And the pre-order window. Damn. The Fandom Flakies block. The For No Mortal Creature. The For No Mortal. Damn it. The For No Mortal Creature. For No Mortal Creature.